Top 10 Tuesday for Mr. Chris
Hey, on a
Kelly.
Tuesday.
I'm going to turn it over to you because it's the time, baby. What you got for us this week?
Man. Well, I had to put together a list yesterday. I got like a day's worth in the morning, so.
I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you top 10 list.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
Because I was like,
You're
oh, wait,
doing a
I
whole
don't have
section of the show by yourself.
I don't have to do it this week. It was my turn, and now it's Chris's turn. Yes, yes.
You got off easy on this
I
one.
sure
Tony.
did. What's your list, buddy?
Well, you gotta remember, I'm coming. So, from my gaming history, and this will explain a lot of the things that are on my list.
Okay.
Was basically I alternated generations of consoles and stuck the computer in between.
Okay.
So I had PlayStation 1, computer, Xbox 360, computer, and I guess 360 to Xbox One, whatever.
Okay.
But now I have the Xbox One and a PC.
Okay.
Now, what's missing is the PS2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
So I know there's a lot of great characters that are in those games that are not going to show up on this list. Yeah, tell me about them in the comments, man.
But what's the list?
But the actual list itself, for me, is the top 10 video game villains.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's a good one, friends. We haven't seen that one. Holy moly.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
Holy macaroni.
So, the first one, we get started right here because it's the longest list. Actually,
10. Do you have honorable mentions or anything?
yeah, we'll do them before I reveal who my number one is.
Oh, okay, cool.
I like
Okay,
it.
I like that style.
Number 10 is Sarah Kerrigan, who is the Queen of Blades from StarCraft.
Oh, okay.
So-
A little PC influence there.
Yeah, definitely. And her story starts with a betrayal by the leader of the Confederacy, Arcturus Menks. And basically, he leaves her behind to die, and then she becomes the leader of the Zerg, which has worked its way into popular lore in games, Zerg rushes and all that stuff.
Zerg Rush.
But the character, the way it's kind of progressed over the last 10 years of the StarCraft franchise and through 2 and all of its expansions, it's been fun to watch, and the sheer amount of power that she wields as the leader of an entire species is insane.
Is she the one that you see on the cover?
Yeah,
for
with
most
the
of the
crazy
games?
hair and everything.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with StarCraft, unfortunately. I played like the original back in the day. That's about it.
Yep. All right, we're gonna follow that up with number 9, and it's Team Rocket from everybody's favorite card trading game.
I love it.
Their intentions, they're sort of the reason they're in the game, in the in the lore and all that is pretty despicable, really. The exploitation of Pokemon are no good. But at the same time, and especially in the cartoons and everything, their sort of sheer incompetency and the certainness that they're going to lose kind of makes them, that's why they're here on my list and not further up.
I gotcha. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Number 8 is a little bit of a stretch for me, and probably for you guys too, but from a long time ago, like Windows 95, there was a game called Ski Free. Do you remember that?
No. That's
I can't
old.
think
Windows
of it.
95. I was over there playing Chex Blast or whatever that game was. That came with my Chex cereal.
Anyway, so there's this game called Ski Free. You're a skier, and you're just coming down a mountain, and you have to avoid trees and stuff, but eventually this Yeti comes out and starts chasing your ass down the mountain. And it's a very spooky looking Yeti. I'll show you pictures of it later. But this stick-legged son of a bitch, he always wins. So either he gets you, and if he touches you, it's death, obviously. Or he's going to push you into a mistake. You're going to fall into a rock or a tree or whatever. So that's why he's on my list. I spent a lot of time dying to that stupid Yeti.
I'm going to have to look up a YouTube video
That
of that.
darn Yeti.
Darn Yeti. Number 7, we're bringing it up to... comparatively the recent past, and going with the Elusive Man from Mass Effect.
Mass Effect, baby.
And this is kind of getting into one of those, this is going to be sort of common with the rest of these, is the moral ambiguity. I really like those kinds of villains, the ones that make you think, why are they doing this? And you can almost empathize with why, and you as the player have to make the decision.
I like it.
Hey, I can see why they're doing this. I don't agree with the means. I'm still going to kill you anyway.
Yep.
So it's stuff like that. Martin Sheen. Is that the right name?
Yeah, that's Martin
Yeah. Excellent job with the voice acting.
Let me ask you, because I never played 3, did he turn into the villain in the end? I know he was kind of that guy that was in the background. He knew he was up to no good. This is spoilers for Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, big time, kind of.
He is. He was kind of the bad guy in the end.
I mean,
you had to make the final
sort of.
decision with him, I think, right?
The Mass Effect 3 made you work with him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why. So
I know
don't
2 did. So.
What do you think, Johnny?
He was super terrifying, though.
Definitely in 2, he was pretty much the guy in the back, kind of, kind of like placing the pawns, different places, getting everything set up. Overall, I mean, your whole... I kind of forget what was going on there, but I mean the Reapers and everything. But yeah, I mean he's pretty much one of the main Mass Effect bad guys, and does a good job at it.
There you go.
You really, you kind of sympathize with him, but at the end of the day, you just want to punch him in the face.
What about them eyes though? Those eyes are freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
The implants or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What number was that?
7.
Wow, that's pretty high
7.
up because he's a good villain right
Yeah,
there.
he was
I
a
like
pretty
that.
good villain. Number 6, probably the OG for me anyway. Very first handhelds I ever played. Bowser.
Yep. Bowser, yeah, you got to bring him
King
up.
of the Koopas.
Damn Koopas.
Probably the OG villain, to be honest. He's been doing it for a long, long time.
It's kind of a cop out.
Still,
No offense.
a little bit.
But you have to mention
Yep.
him if you're going to do a top 10 list,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And more recently, still kind of a cop out, but number 5 comes in as Mark Hamill's Joker. in all
Oh, that's
the
a
video game
really,
series.
really
Yep.
good pick because he was amazing in all.
And it really just comes down to Mark Hamill being a badass and being awesome at his job.
Hands
So,
down.
need I explain more? I don't
No.
think so.
No, it's
Number
great.
4, a bit of a comic relief up here at number 4. You guys remember Oregon Trail
Yeah.
games? So my number 4 villain of all time are all of the diseases from the Oregon Trail that you can die from.
Damn you.
Let's go down the list, ladies and gentlemen. We have measles, not a pleasant disease.
No.
Number 2 is dysentery.
Ooh, even worse.
Dysentery
That,
is the
that
biggest
sounds
one.
terrible. doesn't it? Number 3 is typhoid.
Mm.
Might have to get like a... We need Liz to explain what the hell typhoid is.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
she's
heard
not
of that.
here right now, so
4 is cholera.
no clue.
And then the last is snake bite and exhaustion that you could die from. So,
Dysentery is the one I see all the time. You died of dysentery or whatever.
the reason that this is on my list and is my justification that I thought of just now is because these villains have actually killed people in real life.
Oh, that's true. They've come over to the real world. They've broken the fourth wall.
Yeah, they busted the fourth wall
Wow.
and busted some 19th century settlers or whatever. So,
Scary.
oh yeah.
Good pick.
Number 3, coming to the Borderlands franchise.
Oh, there you go.
And Handsome Jack.
Ah.
He's one of my favorite villains of all time. Mostly because he's constantly in your ear.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly in your ear the entire game, and by the time you get to the end of Borderlands 2, you had it. Like,
Played by none other than Troy Baker, correct? Is Troy Baker the voice actor for Handsome Jack, or did he just do it for the Telltale thing? I'll
I
look
might
it
have
up.
just done it for Telltale.
I'm not sure.
But oh yeah, I'll agree with you.
his backstory with enslaving his own sister, and
Oh, I'm wrong. Damon Clark. My bad.
really,
Sorry.
oh, I
Yep.
didn't know that. And the way, like I said, he's constantly in your ear.
I never
His
played
big
2.
flying spaceship that blows planets up.
Yeah.
and stuff.
I
It's
really
amazing.
I need to finish 2 because I hear. Was he in the pre-sequel?
Yes.
He was.
Okay, yeah, I know he's turned into the big guy. Was he in the first one?
No.
No, okay. He's kind of like this luminous figure or whatever. That's kind of watching the whole thing
He's the head of
happen.
Hyperion Corporation, so
Okay.
he's kind of one of those characters that has all the money and all the resources in the world and just uses it all to make your life miserable.
Okay,
So,
interesting.
number 2 from Bungie's other game is The Flood and
Ah,
the Grave
that's a
Mine
good one.
kind of together.
Yep.
Just a conglomeration of pus and mucus and all things disgusting. It's gross. Ever since they killed Keyes in the first Halo, it's easy to hate the Flood, the library mission. In my opinion, one of the few times where the chief has to face his own sort of mortality is when he goes down there to talk to Gravemind. And of course, we all know the story between Chief Cortana and the Gravemind. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Gravemind kind of put a voice to the entire collective, as it were.
Yeah.
And that's why he's on my list.
Can I give you an honorable mention? I hope it's not on your honorable
Yeah, go
mentions.
for it.
It's a Halo franchise. One that was actually pretty strong, and I did not expect it to be, was the Didact from Halo 4. That dude was menacing.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that was missing from this last game. I don't know if... Did you play 5?
I haven't played it yet.
It just was... I won't spoil it for you. It just
Yeah.
did not capture that same... Like, you were like, oh, God, this guy could mess me up. So, yeah, shout out to the Didact.
Excellent. Okay, so just want to go into a little bit of the reasoning behind some of my decisions before we go into honorable mentions.
Okay.
I think villains are what makes a video game when it comes
absolutely.
to storytelling, because it's really natural for you as the player to empathize and be able to take on the role of the hero or the protagonist. Very easy. Whenever you write a villain that you can actually, you sort of have that gut feeling, like, I really dislike this person. I can't even remember what the character's name was, but the dude in a Green Mile, the one prison guard, that guy was an asshole. Like, if I ever met that actor, I just want to...
You want to punch him in the face.
Because he's that good.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So if you get that same kind of instinctive sort of primal
feel what the
instinct,
character feels.
That's really what makes a game for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think some of the people on this list made that happen. Some of my honorable mentions are Andrew Ryan from
Great
Bioshock.
pick, yeah. Kind of met his end pretty early in that game, in my opinion.
Did.
I finally finished that game for the first time 6 months ago.
Oh, very good.
I'd never played it before.
Did you do the remastered or the original?
The remastered, yeah, they
nice.
re-released it.
Diablo from Diablo. Although
Yeah,
I would argue that Bale is probably the scarier. But,
Oh, really?
You know, they're all the primevals or whatever.
Yeah.
The Ghost from Pac-Man.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then my last sort of, tongue-in-cheek selection here is Gravity. Just in
Gravity?
general, I've died to that more than anything else in
golly.
any game of all time.
Yep.
All right, so enough teasing here.
Here it is.
We'll go straight up to number one.
big
And it's
one.
actually a 2-for-1 again. I'm sort of cheating
Oh.
here. But it's Vladimir and Imran Makarov from the Call of Duty series.
Oh, good
And
choices.
the only reason why they're number one for me is just, and you guys probably had the same feeling, but when Call of Duty 4 came out, the time period that they set it in and how plausible the situations leading up to the events in that game were.
It was terrifying.
Imran is the father, and he executes the player.
Yep.
That was the first time I ever actually dropped a controller out of just shock.
Like, oh, God.
Like, that just happens. And then his son sets off a nuclear explosion, things like that. The scene walking through the airport, needless to say, that drew some visceral reactions from me, even just playing single player campaign. So
Yep.
those guys are at the top of my list.
I like it.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the list of my top 10 video game villains.
I love it. So what
Very
we do
nice.
here at the end of these lists is each one of us goes through our top three. They don't necessarily have to be our actual top three, but they can be just whatever we think at the time because it is spur of the moment. John, do you have yours over there? You want me to go first, buddy?
You can go first.
Okay, so these aren't in any particular order, but these guys would be up on my list. These are the guys that I played the game, and the reason I played the game is because they motivated me to finish it. Now, one of these dudes, he showed up in the middle of the game, so I wouldn't say that he was my motivation to finish, but he definitely got me there, and he was one of those moments where I was just like, holy hell, what just happened? And Alan, you're going to relate to this. It's David from The Last of Us. Do you guys know who that is? Also, one of my cats just flung something on the floor down there. David has this big reveal in the middle, and I won't spoil it for anybody, because he comes to you as a friend, and you're working with him, and then he starts telling the story that's something that you did in the game, and the reason that he is out is he's wanting to kill the people that did that, and he knew the whole time who you were, and it was like, oh my God, like holy.
Wow.
And then he turned into this very menacing, almost rapey vibe, but just like it was dark, it was super dark, and I was just like, wow. And it was played by no other than Nolan North, and he didn't sound anything like Nolan North. I was like, what? This is
Nolan
Nathan Drake. He did like
Nolan
this
bot.
nasty southern accent. So David from The Last of Us, great pick for that. Vas Montenegro from the Far Cry 3. That was another character that just, holy hell, that was when gaming was just really like, let's explore like the psyche of the brain and how menacing somebody can be. And unfortunately they killed him a little too early in that game, in my opinion. I was like, what? He's not the main villain? Because, spoiler alert, they was like, let's throw in this other guy at the end. Like, that sucks. But he was so good up into that part. He was like three quarters of the game. Great villain. And this one's actually for you, Danny. Albert Wesker from the Resident Evil franchise. He
Very nice.
is one of those guys you just can't kill, man. When you're doing good, and all of a sudden he comes in with those super moves, man, dude, dodging bullets, punching you in the face. He's a menace, and I freaking love him. Resident Evil 5, they kind of took it over the board, like with the whole mutating him thing. I was like, I don't like this. But up until that point, you were just like, this guy, this is what you want to be. He was like one of the agents from The Matrix. That's what the vibe I got. So those are three of villains in video games that I would highly recommend playing their games. What about you?
I'm gonna go with a collective group here,
Oh boy. Oh boy.
and these are not in any order, but
Okay.
zombies in general.
Okay.
Okay.
Zombies are always
They're in a lot of games, that's for
lots
sure.
of villains. Lots of villains create zombies.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty much in every game. Every single Call of Duty you get will have zombies in it.
They sure will. That's a recent trend.
And I found out recently David Tennant's going to be in the World War II
No way.
Call of Duty one, which
That's
I thought
awesome.
he's going to be one of the main characters.
I don't know, which one was it where you could play as the old ex-presidents in the zombie mode at the end?
Oh God, that was Black Ops 1. I
Was
think
it? Black Ops,
think
it was
so.
one of the Black Ops games. That was so funny just watching.
That was like the second iteration of zombies after World at War.
Oh,
It was
JFK
so
running around
stupid.
killing people. It was great.
What else you got, buddy?
2 is going to be another collective, and it is the Covenant.
Yeah. I almost put the
not.
Prophet of Truth on my list.
There you go.
Son of a bitch.
The Covenant's interesting because first Halo, they're the reason why everything's happening. Halo 2, you kind of go into a little bit of, you see different sides of it, like you said earlier, with some of the certain villains you see them branching out in different aspects. Spoiler alert if you haven't ever played Halo.
What's wrong with you?
Some of the Covenant are actually good, and they work with humanity. They had a big schism in their religious ways, started by, I believe, the Arbiter. And they're just kind of they're very menacing. They're taller than Chief. I think Chief's 7 foot tall. They're like 10
he's
feet
up there.
tall. Just very scary dude, especially when they're invisible.
With a
Energy
sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
I love it. Was that all of them? You got one more.
I don't know if I should.
Just do it.
It's not really a video game
How
villain.
about this
though.
fella right here?
It's not really a video game.
Not
villain.
really.
I guess he's. I don't
He's up
know.
there.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go with a different Mass Effect. I'm gonna go with Saren for Mass Effect.
That was a great villain, and they killed him too quick, in my opinion. I'm a big Mass Effect fanboy.
He was.
Elevator riding simulator.
Yeah. He was just like, I'm just gonna destroy everything. I don't care.
Yeah.
And lots of villains like that.
He was pursuing power.
Yeah, and that makes you, all through that game, I was like, I'm gonna destroy this guy as soon as I get my hands
Oh, and
on
that
him.
final fight
Yeah.
at the Citadel at the end, I will forever remember that.
Yep.
Only because it took forever to kill him. But he was also badass at the same time.
Yeah, he was. He was a very cool villain. I don't know. I think he might.
He's
be
up there.
one of the better Mass Effect villains.
I almost did it, but I was just like, I've made too much fun of the other Mass Effect games to put a Mass Effect character in my 3.
I like Saren as a villain more than I like Elusive Man, though.
Yeah.
I will say that. But
That's fair. That's fair.
That's a
I really like that list, Chris.
opinion.
Yeah,
That was
honorable
very-
mention to the group of sons of bitches that shot John Marston.
Damn you! There was a lot of them in there.
Wait, what? He got shot?
Oh,
I mean,
spoilers. He's dead, by the way. What
because then you made us listen to Jack for their
Oh
sake.
God! He told me, my dad is dead.
Did you know my father?
Did you?
Did you know my pa?
Oh dear. Anyways, what are your top 3 villains?